Oh, hey, folks, Jared here. Coming to you. Hopefully, things are working okay. Basically firing things up. And yes, because things are the way they are on Facebook, and I pretty much have copped another 30-day. Literally, just as soon as I finished the last Dude After Dark, like almost immediately, I copped another 30-day. So, Gadsden flag. Screenshot that if you want, but Gadsden flag. Anyway, this is a little bit of a bittersweet occasion. I don't know if you guys really truly have heard about it yet. I did post up a honorific video as soon as I heard early this morning, but of all people, the gentleman from gunblast.com or Gunblast on YouTube, possibly Gunblast on Facebook, I don't know, but the gentleman's name was Jeff Quinn. Call him as the good old boy, not redneck, but the good old boy who literally would just show you some kind of a cool piece of technology and would then demonstrate it by firing it very quickly. And he had some cute phrases to describe weapons effectiveness. This one being made for quote unquote social occasions. I never failed to crack me up. I tend to think that he was a bit of a recoil junkie, and he would shoot some literal behemoth weapons and revolvers and hard recoiling, lever guns from, present day recreations of old stuff. And kind of had a nice Southern gentleman vibe to his videos. And I truly enjoyed his content. And he seemed like just a everyman kind of just good man, just a good guy. And unfortunately, he had some illness, and unfortunately, he did pass. The last video that he posted was posted up about a convertible Ruger revolver in 45 long Colt / 45 ACP. You just basically just switch out the cylinders, and he looked like he was having a hell of a good time shooting that thing. And he said essentially probably one of the most ironic things I think I've ever heard on a last YouTube video made by somebody who then passes on. He's like, yes, I've been waiting for this revolver for a number of months. It was very hard to source, but now that I got it, I'm not going to let it go. Well, if that's going to be your will and testament to say, I'm not letting this revolver go because I waited for it and it's mine now. Yeah, pretty much I can see that as being a very good epitaph. So in that realm and that reason and that rhyme, Mr. Jeff Quinn, I toast you, sir, and to absent companions. It's still up on YouTube, so if you really want to see it, it's there. Just Gunblast on Facebook. I'm sorry, Gunblast on YouTube, Gunblast on gunblast.com, where he has also a bunch of written articles and not so much just the video content, but a bunch of other stuff. And I thought it was really kind of cool because there's also the cool parts about it where he has his son, who's a very good musician, who is doing a version of the Battle Cry of Freedom. That song dates from the good old days back in the Civil War. It was pretty much like a, hey, let's get our stuff together here, kind of a gathering song. And in that realm and that reason and that rhyme, we had that song as the backing track to the video. And it's also one of those things where Jeff used the song quite a lot in his videos. And it literally was the soundtrack to the channel. So in that one, I think perchance possibly we probably should just simply play that song for a little bit and render our honors to Mr. Jeff Quinn. So in that realm and that reason and that rhyme, let me see if I can't find it here real fast. Jeff Quinn, 1959 to 2020. Sir, your star will shine bright in the YouTube gun community for many more years to come. And wish you safe travels, high seas, and prevailing winds, and good sailing. On that one, let's move on to other stuff. Let's see. Scroll. Like I said, I basically copped the 30 days. So, and that really kind of screws me up because then in review, I really can't go into looking at things on Facebook. Barry Keyshawn, appreciate you coming on, dude. Let's see. Scrolly. This one cracked me up, and this was not a meme. This was somebody actually doing it. But I don't know if you guys have seen this or not, but the BLM fist, which is basically kind of like this almost like bad stencil, kind of a upraised fist kind of a thing. And supposedly it has been utilized by the BLM to state, hey man, we're here. And they stencil it on there real fast. But the other thing too is also they're using either blue or black paint to do the BLM fist. Well, the problem is that it's actually not the BLM's thing at all. I mean, it's actually completely ripped off from the Marxists. It is a Marxist/communist upraised fist, basically what it is. But anyway, so the meme is make sure you have a Sharpie with you at all times. And somebody took the fist that was upraised and they drew a dick on it. So, like, dude, it's like twig and berries. dude is hanging on to the crank. And if everybody keeps doing stuff like that, that to me is just pretty much like, hey man, not into what you're doing here, okay? Just not into it. Hag a place, and they're like, yeah man, we're showing our political blah blah blah. It's like, no, you're pretty much defacing public property, and you're really not making a good public statement for yourselves, because there's going to be that quiet group of the silent majority that go, yeah, man, that's really not cool. I mean, you're basically painting your stuff on here, and that's kind of rude. You shouldn't be really doing stuff like that. And I might not actually be stating that publicly or saying it like, in public venues or, making myself and my points of view known, but I am going to table this and I am going to keep it in my head, and I'm going to be annoyed about it. So when I see it, it's going to reinforce the fact that I think it shouldn't have happened in the first place. But yeah, dude throwing the twig and berries on the BLM fist, man. That just tickled me. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. Let's see. Just give me 1 second here. Can't waste the ticker juice. It's also come out that there's people on both sides of the aisle. They're making their points known about BLM. There's been a gentleman, the Nashville fire captain was placed on administrative leave after controversial post criticizing BLM. Well, you got to remember too, anytime you have a position like that, you are also seen in being a political either adversary or somebody that's rah-rahing for the wrong side or rah-rahing for the right side, depending on, politically what's going on at the moment. Something you got to be really, really careful about. And yes, you are allowed to make statements on your off time. The problem is when you make statements on your off time and it blows back on you on your on-duty time. Yeah, that's really not good. That's really, really not good. I did find out something else that was pretty hilarious, though. Supposedly, the United Nations has ordered the Trump administration to stand down in Portland. Well, let's just look at this on its face for 1 second here, okay? Anytime that you have the really, really bad eggs in the basket, they always put those guys in the wrong positions. You have Chad and Sudan and Qatar and other places that are really not very good for human rights, and they're on the Human Rights Commission in the UN. Yeah, that's not stuff that should ever have happen. And it's pretty much like saying, yeah, we're going to get these 5 foxes here. We're going to put them in the hen house to guard all the chickens, just to be on the safe side. We want to keep all these chickens safe, so we're going to put the foxes in there. But the biggest problem is the fact that you have The UN. I mean, the UN is pretty much literally a paper tiger. They really, truly don't have jack squat to say. Hang on a second here. My computer is trying to do stuff that it shouldn't be doing. Hang on a second here. I don't know why it is doing this. It's trying to do a search. It should not be doing a search, so don't do a search. And I think what it is I think it thought I was saying the infamous "don't say it" words. So I had to close the search real fast because it was going, oh, let me look around here because you obviously said the key word. And the key word is a word that you never, ever, 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 ever say because, well, you make it want to do stuff, okay? So you never, ever, ever, ever say the word, okay? And the word is the word where you just don't say the word, okay? It's very simple. You just don't say that word.
Hey, Cortana. Hey, Cortana.
No!
Hey, Cortana.
No, 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 no! Stop! Oh, man. Sound guy.
Hey, Cortana. Hey, Cortana.
Stop!
Hey, Cortana.
Stop! Jeez. What's going on, Devon? Appreciate you coming by, dude. Yes, Devon. Like really small font. Anyway, but yeah, sound guy always likes throwing out the C word. Nah. I can get away with that one. If you don't say it all in one fell swoop, you're fine. But anyway, it thought I said nah. All in one word. It thought I said that and it started going, okay, let me give you the Bing search. It's like, I didn't want the Bing search. Stop that, you dirty little... Yeah, I didn't want that, okay? Stop. All right, so anyway, so the UN, in its infinite wisdom, has told the Trump administration to stand down in Portland. You know what? I think we really, truly need to simply just look at the UN at this point and go, hi, UN, here's your eviction papers. Oh, UN, by the way, we ain't giving you jack squat. Get out. Why don't you relocate someplace nice like, oh, I don't know, like Chad, the Sudan, someplace really, really nice like that. Why don't you guys just go there? North Africa, someplace nice and around the Mediterranean, picturesque. You guys could hang out, have a good old time. Yeah. No, not doing that. And I'm sure pretty much Trump was just like, yeah, let me consider that long and hard. UN, let me work with the UN and not do these things with the UN. Yeah, look into my eye. I'm sure that was probably exactly what Trump was thinking as he was, responding to the UN. Because unfortunately for you, UN, we are a sovereign nation. We don't have to listen to you. You can order all you want, and we can order you to basically pound sand. On that note, I really, truly don't think that Donald Trump's going to go, oh, stars and garters. They just told me to not do something. I better stop. I don't think that's happening, and I don't think he's going to stop doing it at all. And I think pretty much, if anything, he's probably going to double down and say pretty much that, the UN just needs to, yeah. Hey, Abraham, appreciate you coming by, dude. All right, so scroll stuff that are jumping out at me. Let me see here. The people who are doing the mask things. Oh, you're not wearing a mask. This, that, and the other thing. You know what? Most of the time I see somebody not wearing a mask, I just, I'll skirt around them because they're fools. Not so much that you're keeping the stuff from getting to you, because truly, a mask really is like, pores about this size, and the bougies are about like, they're right through the pores. Okay, don't even go there with the Brownian interaction will make it stick to the edges. No, that's not the case at all. Okay, truly, what it is you are protecting you from going, into everybody else's and going, you don't want that. Okay, that's the reason for the mask. You wear a mask in surgery, not to keep the crap from spraying on you. It's to keep your crap from spraying on them. That is all a mask does. A mask is essentially about the same thing as a muffler in the end of your car. It stops noxious emissions from going everywhere. Does it really, really tend to be effective? Well, yeah, but not if you're wearing a mask with your nose sticking out. And I see a lot of people doing that. It's like, man, what kind of a retard are you playing that one? Just bad juju. It's been posited by this video that seems to be floating around now. A bunch of doctors going on about hydroxychloroquine and how well it works, and they really want more people to utilize it. And of course, the screaming memeites are like, it doesn't work because Trump said it works, but it doesn't work. Well, bad news. Okay, this virus seems to execute itself very much along the lines of something akin to malaria. Okay, should you be drinking lots of tonic water? Well, it's got quinine in it. It couldn't hurt. If you don't mind the taste and you can drink the stuff, sure, it'll work fine. Just give me 1 second here. Trump likes it, or Donald Trump posited the notion that it works, or they really truly are suffering from TDS. Yeah, they're still suffering from TDS. The Trump derangement syndrome, where Hillary should have won, Trump didn't win. It was a popular vote versus the electoral vote. All the rest of this happy horse stuff. It's old and tired, okay? And it is what it is. If it works, doesn't matter who recommends it, as long as it works. If Obama recommended it at this time, for a similar occasion, and he said it worked, and people tested out and found out it worked, I guarantee you, the media would be like, oh, he's so brave. He's so courageous. Yes, our leader, our infamous leader. Yes. Oh, imperious leader. He should be president for life now. But because it's Trump, they don't like it. Let me look at the chat room here real quick. Size of COVID-19 is 0.125 microns. Gas mask only stops 1 micron particulates. How is a cloth mask going to stop it? Well, here's the other thing, too, that most people don't seem to understand about gas masks. Gas masks are intended to stop particulate matter. They're not intended to stop gas. If you wind up in a situation where you start having way too much carbon dioxide and you're wearing a gas mask, you're going down, because it's not going to filter out the carbon dioxide and leave behind the oxygen. It's going to say, here's the gas load. As you're inhaling it, you're done. I remember some years ago, I can't remember who posted the video, but it was like some National Geographic or something. But there was a volcano. And in the volcano was, of course, what they refer to as the caldera, which is pretty much like the crater left over after the volcano erupts and all the stuff hardens back up. There's like the bowl-shaped depression. Anyway, so in the caldera was like a downhill, it was full of grass and whatnot. Well, there's a reason why it was full of grass and whatnot. It's because the volcano was not fully enclosed. It was still seeping gas, read like carbon dioxide, farts out, and it was really, really bad juju. Well, there's a reason why the grass was there. It's because all the carbon dioxide was making the grass go, woo, we're going to grow, man. And so the thing about it is from the air, this caldera looked perfectly innocuous and good and ready to just that and the other thing. And down in the caldera was animals, like literally like grass eating animals would go down there and they'd be like, oh, this place is rocking. They'd go down there, they'd get a couple bites in and they would take a breath, and it'd be 75 to 80% carbon dioxide, because carbon dioxide, being heavier than air, stayed in the caldera and displaced all the other gases in the atmosphere. Now, the thing about carbon dioxide is you can breathe carbon dioxide and it feels no different than everything else that you're breathing in current air, except, your lips turn blue, you start getting faint. All of a sudden, all the oxygen in your bloodstream has been flushed out. And after 2 or 3 breaths, you're done. You're obnoxiously unconscious. And then after about 5 minutes, you're dead duck. So anyway, you see this raptor or scavenger bird, I forget which one it was, and the bird's swooping around. And he's like, oh, man, look at that. That's right down there, and it looks delicious. It was like some groundhog or some other, grass eater had gone down, grabbed a couple bites, and went, it pooped out. So you see the bird go swooping down. He's like, oh, this is great. And he goes swooping in, and he lands, and then he goes, something's wrong here. And he takes a deep breath. Well, as soon as he took the deep breath, he flushed most of the oxygen out of his bloodstream, and he was in trouble. And the narrator's going on, you'll notice the eyes are constricting and the gums are turning blue and this, that, and the other thing. And you see the bird going, uh-oh. And he takes another breath and he just kind of falls over and crashes and burns, and he's done. But they say essentially that the situation is if you're wearing a gas mask and you get in a gaseous atmosphere that is not conducive to you breathing, if you get into a situation like that, doesn't matter what kind of gas mask you're wearing, you are going down for the count. My mask has a 2% rebreathing rate. Well, that's great, dude. The only problem is you're working harder to rebreathe that 2%, meaning you're compounding the 12 to 14% of oxygen, whatever it is in the atmosphere, and you're dropping it down to 12 or 10%. So that's the other thing you got to remember too, is anytime you're wearing a gas mask, you are becoming less volumetrically efficient because you're rebreathing your own carbon dioxide. Same problem with wearing, I don't have one handy here, but you know what it looks like. Any cloth mask that you're wearing, automatically you have way more carbon dioxide that you're regagging because you're not exhaling it going all over the place. And of course, new air coming in to replace it. And, carbon dioxide being heavier than air, of course, it's dropping down. The oxygen filling the void and all the rest of it, you moving around. There's a whole bunch of fluid dynamics going on there. And you basically staying oxygenated. Now, the thing about it is anytime you're wearing a gas mask, you're going to be rebreathing your own stuff. I mean, that's just all there is to it. So you probably should have at least a few breath mints just to make your own day more, more pleasant. And remember, don't have that sardine sandwich before you pull on the gas mask. You're going to be going, dude, my breath reeks. You're going to make your own life suck. But anyway, so technology being what it is, the hydroxychloroquine is maybe not a cure, but it's something that is actively able to fight this virus. And then, of course, there's with the remdesivir or whatever it is, does about the same thing as Tamiflu. Essentially, what happens is you take it, and the virus then goes, hey, man, I'm in here. This place is great. I'm going to hang out here. I'm going to reproduce. I'm going to take all these white cells and T cells. I'm going to tweak everything to my own doing. And what the remdesivir does is it makes it so they cannot reproduce. So the viruses being the viruses are like, and your body goes, all right, I now have time to be able to fight with these things. So anyway, the way, shape, and form essentially now we find ourselves is we have potentially a medication that will actively fight it. We also have a medication which will slow the spread. I did actually have a doctor that I transported one day doing the Lyft and Uber thing, and I took him down to the airport, and he was flying out, and it was, nice morning. The guy was very jovial and very, very good for information. And I was asking him about therapies that they were utilizing because I knew that, essentially if you have somebody that becomes immune to COVID-19, they have the antibodies in their bloodstream. Now, the thing about it is with blood types and all, I mean, I'm an A type of blood, other people are O type of blood. There's AB, all the, the prerequisites where you have, the rhesus, the RH factor, all those things coming into play. Some of those blood types being compatible, some not being compatible. But the thing about it is of all things that are in your blood volume, you can strip out the cells, you can strip out this, you can strip out the serum and everything else, and you can leave behind the plasma. Now, the plasma being the straw-colored liquid that, pretty much you strip out everything else. It's basically the juice. So you have the juice left over, but the thing about it is it still has the antibodies on board. So those antibodies that, the previous guy generated that, kicked the COVID-19's butt is still in the plasma. The plasma is universally able to be donated to anybody. So you said essentially what they do is they have a 3-rung version of treating the people. They're using a remdesivir, they're using hydroxychloroquine or equivalents, and they're using blood plasma to try to get these people to beat COVID-19. Now, I was like, so what's your cure rate? Is it actually pretty good? And he goes, it's not bad. Obviously there is some patients that actually do respond. There's other people that don't respond. And of course, there's some people that actually do expire from it. It's like any drug therapy or any kind of treatment option that you're involved in or any kind of sickness that you're involved in. Some people just aren't going to make it. That's just, the length, breadth, and breadth of it. You can put the best stuff on the planet into them and they're not going to recover. There's just some people you cannot fix. So anyway, like I said, go roundy round. Trump was going on about hydroxychloroquine. It works. I've been using it. But obviously, he's going to do the military leader kind of thing. Oh, okay. You don't trust this stuff? Here, let me show you it's safe. Of course, the commanding officer, he's the first one to pop it and swish it down and go, okay, look, I'm taking this, so you're taking this. And everybody else is kind of like, all right, well, Top did it, or, the lieutenant did it, or the captain did it, or the general did it, or, okay, well, I guess now we got to gut check and do it. But that is pretty much what Trump did. He said, look, I'm going to show you that this stuff is safe by taking it first. So anyway, that's the way on that one. So let me look on over here. Anybody else make any more comments? Logan Ray, appreciate you coming on by, dude. Saw you you kind of fell into the fray of the mix there, and sorry about that, but you're in the room, you get your gold star for attendance and good stuff like that there. But it's become very political now, where it's essentially a case of, oh, Trump likes it, so it's got to be bad. It's like, you're a fool, okay? You're a total fool, okay? It's really not doing anything all that good. I mean, it's not fixing the problem, all right? Excuse me. Got that sinus, allergy, icky, bougie, not bougie, but icky, nasty, obnoxious, allergy thing going on. And I've always got it. Every time of year, this is obnoxious. I don't know if you guys heard about this one or not, but here's one you want to be really careful about. And truthfully, it is one that you do not ever, ever, ever want to do. But essentially what it is people across the country, and I'm taking this from Fox. No, I'm taking this from USA Today, USA.com, /story news nation, blah, 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 long ass link. People across the country have reported they received unsolicited packages of seeds in the mail that appear to be sent from China. Agricultural officials in 30 states are warning the public not to plant them. The U.S. Department of Agriculture is aware of the reports and is working with the Department of Homeland Security, Customs and Border Protection and other state and federal agencies to investigate the situation, according to this statement. So, what should you do if you receive one of the mysterious packages? The USDA urged the public to contact the state plant regulatory official or state's animal and plant health inspection service. No. I'm basically going to take that thing and I'm going to find somebody I don't like, and I'm going to plant it in their garden. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that. But anyway, what it is essentially they're saying the USDA urged the public to contact the state regulatory. It's way too many agencies and letters and whatnot. Just contact your local USDA or contact the USDA, okay? It's not rocket science, all right? It's right bloody dang there. All you got to do is simply just go on to the website and go, hey, how do you contact them? So the USDA says, quote, please hold on to the seeds and packaging, including the mailing label, until someone from your state department or agriculture or APHIS, oh, I love this acronym, Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service, contacts you with further instructions. The statement said, do not plant the seeds from unknown origins. Now, that's been kind of one of those classic problems now that humans have gotten way more into transportation all over the planet is invasive species. And the thing about it is the invasive species truly could be something that is just horrible. I mean, case in point, you have Australia. Australia right now has scads of feral cats. I'm talking like house cats just running loose around the place, and they are predators killing for sport, wiping out all kinds of native species and what have you. Another classic one they had was in Australia, they have something called the cane beetle. And so this beetle is like just chowing down on everything and making a mess of stuff. And it's like, man, this place is awesome. I can't just eat cane anymore. I got all this other stuff to chow down on. This place rocks. So it was like the Australians were like, oh, mate, we got to do something here. These little beetles are eating everything. No, bad Aussie accent. So anyway, they're eating everything, and they got to figure out how to stop the little bastards. And they're like, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And they're like, okay, let's ask the Yanks. The Yanks have to deal with these things, and obviously there's got to be something that they have there that eats the cane beetles. So they contacted the U.S. The U.S. is like, well, yes, we have something called the cane toad. The cane toad loves the cane beetles so much that it just eats them like kids eating candy. So the Aussies are like, that is freaking awesome. We'll get a bunch of these cane toads, bring them over, set them loose. One will eat the other, and everything will be right again. No. What happened is they let the cane toads loose. The cane toads are like, yeah, we could be eating these cane beetles, but man, all this other stuff to eat here is just, woo, this is the cat's pajamas. Before you know it, the Aussies had cane toads out the ass. Then they had cane beetles out the ass because the cane toads chose not to eat the cane beetles. Then before you know it, they're like, okay, Americans, what eats the cane toads? Oh man, kudzu. Oh yeah, kudzu is an awesome, the Japanese plant known as kudzu. They turned that thing loose down south and it has literally taken over. So they said, what eats the kudzu? The nutria. So they turned the nutria loose down there. And the nutria is like, we don't have to eat just this kudzu anymore, man. We can eat everything. And if you've ever seen a nutria, it kind of looks a little bit like a capybara. So if you were to look at a capybara or a nutria, what do they kind of look like? Well, they kind of look like if you took a beaver, a rat, a hamster, a guinea pig, and a deer, and just kind of like and smashed it all together. So you have this long-legged 40-pound rodent that basically pops out of the water, scarfs down everything, and reproduces like a rat. And from what I understand, talking to people who are from there and listening to enough stuff about people talking about being from down there, supposedly the nutria are they're delicious. I mean, they're absolutely one of the best things you could eat that's in the swamp. And they reproduce like rabbits. So you can zap the crap out of them, and they encourage you to zap the crap out of them. Conversely, the kudzu is a very invasive plant species, and they say that is also rather tasty. Only problem is it grows like bamboo. It takes over a place. So we did it. The Aussies did it. Probably everybody's done it. Supposedly ship problems that we've had, ships going over to like the China Sea or going over to other ports, pick up oysters, pick up clams, pick up shrimp, pick up all kinds of other things and turn it loose in a new place when they pump out their bilges, which they never, ever should do. But it's also a situation where a lot of these species just go, hey, there's this boat, and they stick. Mussels, all kinds of mollusks and other things plant themselves on the boats and take a ride to a new place and go, you know what? I'm tired of hanging on this boat. Let's just pop off here, reproduce, and have a good old time. So that's literally how you stick the wrong stuff in the wrong place, and they start taking over because they have nothing to combat them other than what they had from their own place. A la in the state of Maryland, the snakehead. The snakehead is supposedly they're really tasty, but man, they are a scourge in the water. They will absolutely terrorize an area, predate the crap out of the indigenous stuff, and just do a whole hell of a lot of damage. Let's see. Cali shotgun, also known as Abrams. They look like a fangless mouse deer. The states started using goats to deal with the kudzu with good results. Well, sure. And we eat goats. If nothing else, we could take goats, reproduce them like crazy, ship them over to other places. Goats are benign. They pretty much just go out and eat what they need to eat, and they work. Unless they get wild and crazy, and then they're feral, but they're still easy to catch. Okay, deer is harder to get than goats. Goats are not very good wild animals. That's why we got them and made them domesticated. Just give me 1 second here. Trying to domesticate a deer is hell of a lot harder than trying to domesticate a goat. Goats are easy. Anyway, so the USDA is collecting the seed packages, testing them to determine if they contain anything harmful to agriculture or the environment. This is the kind of crap that, the Japanese would try to do to us in World War II. It's like minor, nitpicky, obnoxious stuff. You know what? If I, in my heart of hearts, could do what I would really wanted to do, I would start sending kudzu and all kinds of obnoxious stuff over to China. Really invasive plants. If you want to do this kind of crap, China, here's how you hang with us. We send you stuff that you can't contend with. And we make it so it's stuff that you really, truly don't want to eat. That'd be hilarious. Send them blue zucchini, ghost pepper, all kinds of this absolutely unpalatable, unedible, and completely useless fruits and vegetable plant stuff. Just send that over to China. Let them go, oh, crap, we stuck this stuff in the ground, and now we can't get rid of it. That's how you handle this kind of a thing. It's like, you're going to be doing something obnoxious like this to us. We return it in kind. You basically stick a thumb in our eye. We stick 2 thumbs in your eyes. That's how we roll. Fangless and oversized mouse deer. Yeah, that's a good one for the capybara or the nutrias. Except the nutrias have this kind of rat tail thing going on. Let's see. Scrolling. So don't plant the seed. Send it over to the USDA and say, guys, what is this? Yeah. I don't know why anybody would do this one, but supposedly Lego was going to make an Osprey V22 set. Now, one of my friends who's a PhD, works for Sikorsky, scary smart dude, he would have bought one of these because his daughter is like an absolute Lego nut. I mean, she has like all the major kits built upstairs and like, in glass cases so they don't have any problem, so they look good and whatnot. But supposedly, July 21, Lego announced the upcoming Lego Technic V22 Osprey has been canceled. And it was called set number 42113. It was officially a licensed model of the Bell Boeing V22 Osprey tilt rotor aircraft used by the U.S. Navy, Marines, Air Force, and Japanese Self-Defense Forces, also known as the JDF. Despite being just 10 days from its August 1 release date, Lego pulled the Osprey from the website and announced that shipments of the new set would not go out to retailers. An official statement Lego said, quote, the Lego Technic Bell Boeing V-22 Osprey was designed to highlight the important role the aircraft plays in search and rescue efforts. While the set clearly depicts how the rescue version of the plane might look, the aircraft is only used by the military. We have a long-standing policy to not create sets that feature real military vehicles, so it's been decided not to proceed with the launch of this product. We appreciate that some fans will be looking forward to this set, may be disappointed, but we believe it's important to ensure that we uphold the brand values. I got to call. Hang on a second here. I need a good sound effect. Okay. Yep. I call bull. Yeah. Bull it on that one. Okay. Supposedly they said they don't make stuff using military vehicles. I have put my hands on the tires of Atlantis. And I do mean the very last space shuttle to fly its mission, being Space Shuttle Mission STS-135. It was the last space shuttle mission. That space shuttle is currently on station, standing by for future use just in case, in Kennedy Space Center in Canaveral area in Florida, Cocoa Beach. I've touched the tires. Tires have been out in space. That space shuttle and all the other space shuttles before it have launched military satellites. They've launched spy satellites. They've launched technologically advanced satellite technology that have been snooping, pooping, and doing all kinds of military type of operations, secret aspect type stuff. Now, let's just do a little bit of research here. Lego Space Shuttle Kit. Lego Space Shuttle Kit. Why, look, the Lego Shuttle Expedition Kit number 10231. Huh. Oh, wait a minute. Do you guys know that on the Apollo missions, the first moon mission, one of the astronauts was a civilian, one of the astronauts was a Navy type of guy, because they didn't want to make it a military operation. But, oh yeah, Lego makes a NASA Apollo Saturn V kit 21309. So, apparently, Lego has no problem with making space operation vehicles, as long as it only carries one or two people who might be military, or only some of the missions may have been military, or only some of the stuff might have had some aspect of military technology dealing with it, because it isn't a quote-unquote military vehicle or real military vehicle. My only problem with the Bell Boeing V-22 Osprey is it's a piece of crap that kills people. That's my only problem with the Osprey. Oh, well, the technology has been proven out. It works good now. Don't trust it, okay? I would not get on that bird at all. And I can tell you for a fact, there's a lot of stuff I'm willing to fly on. The V-22 Osprey is not one of them. And it's what it is I've even asked my friend who is the PhD. I'm like, dude, so is it a better helicopter or a better plane? He goes, actually, it's neither. What it is. It's basically them slapping together as much stuff to kind of make it do both things, but it doesn't do either of them particularly well. The fact it does it alone is enough to say that they put enough money in the project. Let's see. Scroll. Look over here in the chat room. Ike and Kennedy wanted test pilots. Ike pounded the desk and demanded them. Yeah, I'd rather like, you know what? Hang on a second here. I'll be right back. I have been to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. And there's a reason why I went to Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, obviously to see the battlefields and whatnot. But the other reason is if you guys go there, on the edge of the battlefields, there is a stand. Literally, you can, sometimes a year you can climb up, and other times they got it shut down. It's park property. But the reason for it being kind of unique is, of course, you have, the obvious Gettysburg battlefields. And if you guys have ever done it, go to Gettysburg. Do the tour. We actually did the quote-unquote CD tour where you put a CD in your car and you're driving around, and it's actually timed out and gives you okay, on this field, the battle of blah, blah, blah happened, this, that, and the other thing happened, all these guys, this, that, and the other thing. The fight went this, that, and that, and then it gives you the whole nuts and bolts of the whole thing. Go to Gettysburg. If nothing else, just to get an idea of the length, depth, and breadth of just how big a battle that thing was. 40,000 men died in very, very short order. It was a hell of a mess. Anyway, so on the edge of the property, you will see a fairly okay, nondescript looking kind of a house, kind of a time warp kind of a thing. And that is Ike Eisenhower's house. Now, how could you know I've been there? Right. This is currently still on my refrigerator as a trip that Mrs. Dude and I took. And Gettysburg is really not very far from my house. I mean, it's a few hours at best. And we've been there and to see the place and experience, the battlefields and to look the place over. And it is really surreal because it's one of these hauntingly beautiful places. I mean, you can look at the lay of the land, you can know the way the battles took place. And, obviously there's that kind of, if you kind of tune in for it, there's that psychic vibe of, something really big happened there. And of course, seeing the house, it's really, truly a time warp because it looks like, your grandparents' house that just got stuck in the 1950s and has not changed at all. It's very cool to see the place. I have always been a fan of Eisenhower. Literally, he's the one guy that got together with the Russians and said, look, we don't need to start fighting here for something stupid. Let's just try to have just a moment of peace. And coming from a guy that basically fought in World War II, he's had his fair share of being in combat. I think pretty much what it was is he's thinking, I really, truly don't need to bring more guys into the fray and don't need to have more fights. And I think we just got out of Korea, so it was enough right then and there for him to say, you know what, I've had a gut full, I'm done. I have always liked Ike. Always. Just good guy. But anyway, so if you go there, you can see all the place and you can see the house and all the rest of that fun stuff. But definitely go to Gettysburg. But yeah, it's this is this is political correctness at its finest, and it's just flipping stupid. It's just dumb. It's dumb. But you know what? If I ever buy Legos, I don't buy new Legos. I buy used Legos off of eBay. Because I can pick what I can get, I don't have to go out and buy some $70 set for the 4 or 5 pieces. I think it'd be kind of cool. And I don't buy sets to go, okay, here's all the instructions. Let me build this thing. I don't do that, okay? That's like an Adam Savage or LDS or LCR guy on YouTube. That's their thing. They basically buy a kit and then have to put the thing together. And I'm not that nuts and bolts. I play around with stuff and I just play with things. And if I leave the Legos alone for a few years and pull it back out again, that's pretty much how I roll. I get like a momentary bit of just, let me start messing with these things and see what happens. And there is some stuff that I play with and other stuff I don't play with. I mean, it's just, I'm a nerd, but I'm not that much of a nerd because being a dyslexic, a lot of the stuff just doesn't work. Let's see, scrolly. Pelosi galore. Oi, she is. So I think she's flipping losing it, man. She is losing it. First, she started calling federal officers stormtroopers for defending federal buildings. I got bad news for you, governors and mayors. If it's a federal building, Trump has every single executive right to send the guys in there to defend federal property. Just like going to an embassy, it is something all in unto itself. You have no bearing on that property whatsoever, other than simply to say, yeah, we don't like that building. That's about the most you could say is, oh, I don't like that building. But you have nothing to do with the upkeep of it. You have nothing to do with the defense of it. And you have absolutely nothing to say about it being there in the first place, because there is that overture of federal supremacy where they are allowed to do things. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. I'm not going to say that one. That one's kind of stupid. Yeah, that's a classic one. One of those memes. Two problems with hydroxychloroquine is that people pushing it or pushing against it, even though it can save your life. It only costs $10, and Donald Trump promoted it. I saw that and I was like, dang, wow. Other people, it works, so stop politicizing it. There's a lot of other behind the scenes stuff that people truly are not going on about. All those guys involved with the FISA crap. They have so many people that are now currently in trouble. They're now under indictments. Whether they can fight against it, who knows? It's just stuff that is blatantly obvious that there's something else going on. All the Epstein thing. Who rode the planes, who went to the island, who buggered the kids, who did that, all this dirty little insider thing. And, of course, I'm not going to get into the, and was it Androchrome or whatever that crap is. It's all conspiracy theory crap. But, the sex things with all these people, there's something going on. Otherwise, they wouldn't be pushing back against it so hard in the really hide it behind closed doors kind of a thing. There's something going on there, and it's blatantly obvious that there's more to it than what they're saying. Let's see. Scrolly. This one truly cracked me up. This guy, hang on a second. I got to shift gears here. This guy, this guy here. We're talking about Austin's mayor. They had a shooting on Saturday, and it shows they have too many guns in Austin. Dude, you do realize that you're in Texas, right? Okay, so if anybody doesn't know the geography of Texas, Austin is like the San Francisco of Texas. You go there and they say keep Austin strange. They mean it. They really, truly mean it. The place is really kind of a mixed bag of craziness. I remember seeing this one thing where a guy had a house. Standard single-family home. Kind of looked like it was built about late 1800s, 1900s, something like that. It's kind of like one of these Gothic style of like really steep roof pitches and kind of like almost like towers and parapets and kind of things. But anyway, the guy's house was built, and because the zoning in Austin is just bizarre. When you have a piece of property in the United States, here's how it's supposed to work. You have a piece of property, and literally up to outer space, that piece of property is yours. Now, the thing about it is at a certain altitude, planes pretty much get a free pass, because if you were to say every single person could say, don't fly over to my house, the plane would be literally dipsy-doodling all over the whole United States. It'd be a very dangerous situation. Planes would be crashing into each other trying to avoid dipsy-doodling into somebody's property lines, and it literally, truly would be an unsafe situation. So if a plane flies over my house at 30,000 feet, I'll allow it. How long are they over my house? Maybe about a quarter second at best. Because most planes cruising at altitude, they're moving 505 miles an hour plus, okay? They're not putting along. I mean, I know they throttled back to save some gas, but they're moving 500 plus miles an hour. As a matter of fact, on my GPS, my best speed is not like, 70 or 90 or 120 miles an hour or something like that. My best speed on my GPS, because I managed to get it to turn on and work at altitude on a jet, 573 miles an hour. Now, I think we had a tailwind at that point, but it was pretty funny because I had it turned on and people are like looking over going, how high are we now? How fast are we going? Is that and the other thing? And it worked until I got about to 33,000 feet or something like that. And then it just blanked out because I guess what happened is we got too far out of angle and the satellite could no longer communicate with the GPS. But I have not turned that off and reset it since. And, obviously boots on and off when I turn my car on and off, but I have not reset that for the very simple reason is I get pulled over by a cop and it's going to be like, so, sir, how fast you think we're going? It's like, well, officer, look at my GPS. I just reset it. He's going to look at it and go, 572. Get out of here. Officer, I don't think I was speeding. It's like, just go. Just go. Just go. I don't even want to talk to you anymore. Just leave. So anyway, but yeah, I mean, that's the thing too is also Austin being what it is. The guy's house is set up as such, and over his house, literally over his house, is one of those rickety wooden style roller coasters going all around, the highermost point of his house. This thing kind of makes a loop. And they're like, so, dude, is that a problem? He goes, well, man, I live in Austin. It's cool. I have a roller coaster over my house, man. Okay, if I lived someplace and they put a roller coaster over my house, I guarantee you, number one, the roller coaster wouldn't run very reliably. Number two, it would never got built in the first place because I would never, ever live in a house in that type of situation. And if you think about it, dude has to deal with a roller coaster going whoosh, click, whoosh, click, whoosh, click. How many times in the course of a day? Oh, yeah, it's cool, man. You get used to it. No, dude, I used to live in New York City, and I was used to hearing subways. Subways were not going right over my house. That is flipping stupid. Same way to say that you have too many guns in Austin in the state of Texas. You know what? If you really want to go that route, why don't you simply just have a referendum vote and you say, you know what? Austin, you are now emancipated. You are now a sovereign nation. Oh, yeah. You have walls around your fringes. And by the way, you're going to need a passport to get into the rest of Texas. That's how you handle that one. Ike and Kennedy. Okay, so we're rehashing that one there. Abram hadn't updated. Anyway, so scrolly. Oh no. Loaded rifle magazines and Molotov cocktails found in a bag in Portland Park. Oh no. Loaded magazines. They're so dangerous. And the other thing too is these Molotovs they're talking about, they're mason jars with rags in them, and there's nothing in the jars. The magazines are painted blaze orange. Now, if you guys know anything about military, anything that is blaze orange denotes it is not live ammo. If you have a magazine that is orange, that is a blank magazine. It has an adapter shoved in the front of it to make sure that blank cartridges, which are this long, versus live cartridges, which are that long, simply do not have feeding issues in a weapon with a BFA or blank firing adapter. One of my buddies, when he was going through boot camp, was asking me about it after I'd been through boot camp and was like, hey, man, what can I expect to deal with the 16s and whatnot? I was like, dude, I guarantee you put a BFA on there, it is going to be filthy, dirty. You're going to need to jump in the shower to get all the carbon out of it. And the drill instructors think it's funny. And they will let you shoot to your heart's content with blank cartridges with a BFA, but there's a slight problem with a BFA. If you guys know what a BFA is, essentially, if you look at the front of an M16 or AR-15, there is the compensator / flash hider, where it basically has little slots and basically changes from a big fireball to a small poof. But if you look at it, there's two grooves on the compensator. Those grooves are intended for you to take a steel box with a screw on the end, and you slip that into one of the slots, and you screw down the handle, and that handle has a bolt, essentially, with a hole down the middle. Now, what that hole does is it allows some gas to go out and some gas to stay in the barrel, thus allowing the M16 / AR-15 to function with a blank cartridge. Now, if you think about it, as dirty as a gun gets shooting it just normally, What do you think is going to happen when you have 75% of the gack that would normally go out the barrel staying in the gun? 2 or 3 magazines, you have a filthy, dirty firearm. So anyway, these orange magazines, which look like they're PMags, I mean, they're obviously PMags. It looks like 2 non-window and 1 window. They're all painted blaze, what looks like blaze orange. And of course, these Molotovs are mason jars with holes in the tops and rags. And I would not use mason jars, okay? I would probably use something other than a mason jar. That is not the appropriate thing to be utilizing. If you're going to do a Molotov, what you really truly want to do is you want a beer bottle. That is the preferred method. They fly farther, they hit harder, and when they break, they make a lot more nasty stuff for the cars to drive over. Read like glass popping tires. Let's see. Scrolly. This video that I'm talking about, American doctors address COVID-19 misinformation with a SCOTUS press conference. That video supposedly has been like handed around. Oh, it's being this, that, and the other thing. It's being blocked. And if you want to find it, you can find it. Okay, it's out there. All right, it's not that hard to find. Stuff's out there. Just look around for doctors. SCOTUS thing. It's out there. All right, it's not hard to find. I'm not a big one for conspiracy theories or what have you, but I gotta tell you guys, obviously the big 3 of Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook, they will always steer politically to the left. It's not even gonna be a gradual turn. It's gonna be like, okay, we're going. They don't even make it like something that they say in charity. It's just that is how they are. They are blisteringly, stridently very left of Stalin. Of that, pretty much they're not going to change up. They're not going to stop being how they are, and you have to work around them as they are. And that's another thing too, is they now are abusing their own rules. Like on Facebook, they pulled a picture, and it was pretty much a very benign picture. I got to look it up and find it again, but it was like, it was like, show me your guns. And some chick's like bracing her arms. So like you're looking at her biceps, and some guy's like reaching out and honking her left boob. And it's like, she's grinning like, oh, you jerk. That's not what I meant. And that picture got dinged and pulled down in a private group. And they said, oh, that's nudity. It's not accessible, blah, 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 blah. So then they said, another picture was like this, that, and the other thing. So then I got snarky about it. And I started posting pictures with women wearing fairly sheer t-shirts with very erect nipples. And I thought that was just hilarious. I posted like 20 pictures like that. And I was like, you know what? I don't think that's the problem on Facebook. I think the problem might be this. And it's still up. There's a bunch of pictures of shirtless males with very pendulous breasts. And I thought that was even funnier. So it's like, okay, Facebook, you don't like me showing boobs? Here you go. I got it both ways. And it was just something I kept playing with for a while. And then they blocked me for posting up another picture. I forget what they even posted me on. Or ding me for. So hang on 1 second here. Let me go back to my homepage. And, then you have like the little box in the corner. It says, for account restricted. Only you can see this with like a little arrow. And then you click on it and you see what you posted up. Oh, yeah, that's what it was. It was the picture of the white old male kissing the small black child. And I said, yes, that looks like Chuck Schumer. And it says, your comment did not follow our community standards on nudity or sexual activity. Well, I'm not trying to show adult child sex. I'm not trying to say that that is a normalcy thing. I'm not trying to say anything but what it is, other than that guy looks a whole heck of a lot like Chuck Schumer. And why in the world is he sucking face with a child? So obviously Facebook being Facebook, they're covering their own tail feathers and they're covering their own buddies. So that's why they did that to that picture. So you know what? I think we need a little bit of a palate cleanser here. And I'm going to step a little bit over to technology. Let me throw a little light on the subject here. Not on me, but on stuff. Hopefully this works. Obviously, you guys know I have my classic. I think this is a fifth or sixth generation classic iPod. So let me see if I can't stop over flashing it here. Yeah, so classic iPod. Yeah, maybe I'll lose a light. It might be a little better. Okay. So anyway, your classic iPod here. This monster is 160 gigs. A little hard to see, but it is 160 gigs. You turn this thing on and you hit the play button and you hear because it has a little hard drive in there. So if you were to pop the shell off and look at it from about here down, literally is a miniature hard drive, like little, arm tracking, little disc, little platter spinning. It literally has a small hard drive. Now, from time immemorial, I can tell you guys, 160 gigs in a computer back in the good old days, that was monster, man. I mean, if you were lucky to get an 80 gig drive in an okay computer back in the day. Let me kill this light. It's distracting. So anyway, this unit being what it is a standard classic, nothing crazy. Guys can see it lighting up. It's doing its thing, nothing crazy. And I decided I didn't want to have a hard drive bouncing around in the Pilot, because the Pilot actually does have USB plugs, and it is actually, it's smart enough to have the technology on board where you have Bluetooth. It's got, some other goodies on board. It doesn't have navigation. That's the only thing that truck is missing, and I almost wish I had it, but I could live without it. I still got my GPS. I just stuck that to the windshield. Obviously GPS is coming in when I'm doing Uber and Lyft. So anyway, I got this classic guy here, and it is good to go. So it's 160 gigs, and it is a hard drive bouncing around in a car and getting shaken around and whatnot. And I was like, you know what? I don't know if I want to keep doing that to this thing, simply because the 160 gigs are not cheap. It's about a $200 plus unit. On eBay, I got this one for $100 out of a pawn shop. So I am not crying. This thing is really young. It's had very, very light life. It's had very light cycles, and battery life on it is very, very good. It is still a very decent unit. So I said, self, what's going to be something that's going to fit? Well, the other thing that's kind of nice is the package that this thing is. It actually fits very, very nicely. Let me turn it back off here. The package of this thing is, it actually fits very, very nicely in the phone holder of the middle console of the Pilot. Obviously, below that is like a cigarette lighter plug, or a power port, they call it nowadays, and a USB plug. And of course, it does have an aux cord, or 1/8 phono jack plug. And this thing fits perfectly in that little carrier that pretty much then loops up and then plugs right in with the USB plug, and of course the adapter plug and the 30 pin and all the good stuff like that there. Because this is the old one that doesn't have the, the lightning plug. This is still the classic 30 pin. So I was like, you know what, self, you pretty much should find something equivalent. And I started scrounging around on eBay, and I found this. And the thing about it is sheer size, it is a doppelganger. I mean, it's the same exact size body. The major difference is this one being a flash drive. This one does not have a disk drive whatsoever. It is your classic, I want to say a 5th generation, but it's still a, large format classic. Let's see if I can turn this thing on here. Maybe the battery died. I don't care. I'm going to keep it plugged in the car anyhow. But anyway, the way, shape, and form essential in this one is a 30 gig. So you're like, okay, well, how many songs can you fit on a 30 gig hard drive? Well, it's not a hard drive. It's actually a flash drive. So a rewritable digital medium that can take all kinds of shock and stress and bouncing around and all kinds of good stuff like that there. You can do anything in the world to these, because it is a IC chip and not an actual drive unit. There's no moving parts in this thing other than the buttons that you're pushing. And the thing about it is I got this thing, and of all things, eBay sent me a $10 coupon. So this guy was asking like $40 for it. And he's like, hey man, if you take it now, I'll sell it to you for $37. So I was like, you know what, dude? Kind of not feeling it. I'm offering you $30. Take it or leave it. And the guy was like, okay, cool. $30, whatever. So I got this 30 gig iPod for $30, $2 tax, shipping, whatever. Actually, there's no shipping. It was like $2 tax. And then eBay sent me a $10 coupon. I was like, well, hell, this rocks. So I applied the coupon, got this thing for $22.30. So I'm like, okay, that's really cool. All right, great. This is what have you, And then I took it, obviously, and plugged it into my home computer. And I have a program called Copy Trans Master. It is not iTunes. It has nothing whatsoever to do with Apple, other than it makes any, and I do mean any iPod compatible with your Windows computer. And I do now have 4 iPods But this guy's going to take permanent residency in the car, being, it's a flash drive and not a hard drive. So I jack it into my computer, and I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, let me see what this thing's got. It had, I got to choke up on the mic for this one, folks, 3,700 songs. It was full to the gills of, I'm still clearing crap out of it. Last time I plugged this thing and looked at properties, it was like, oh yeah, it's only 2/3 full now. My stars and garters. This thing had probably about like at least $1,000 worth of music on board that I'm never even going to listen to, mostly because I don't like that kind of music. So loading in my own stuff, let me put this in perspective. Everything I have in my library in this thing is maybe 5%. So putting it in this thing, it might be closer to about maybe 12%. So anyway, way, shape, and form now I'm looking at. I'm now clearing out a whole bunch of crap that I really, truly don't like, don't need, don't want to listen to. And I'm putting in my stuff, putting in other stuff. But they're getting cheap, man. They're getting really, really cheap. And if you watch out and you are a good bidder on eBay and you scrounge, these are still decent little units. Now, here's the dirty little secret. Some of the stuff that I have that I wish to keep more private, or I want to have backlogged, or want to be able to access somewhere else, and I want to have on my person in case of craps. The dirty little secret is this is still a hard drive. So this is still a removable drive for your computer. I literally have taken files and dragged and dropped into this thing to have as a later reference item. Here's the dirty little secret. It might not be able to access it, but it will still store it in the hard drive. That's another way of looking at things, and that's something else that you can do. I've been doing that one for years. My old classic MP3 player, I did that with this. Can I access the files with this? No, but I'm using it as a flash drive, and all these technologies will do that. All of these will do that. If you have files and you want to have them archived someplace other than on your computer, or you wish to have them with you at all times just in case, all you need is an adapter plug, and you are good to go to pull these files and jack them into anything that takes a USB plug. That is just another way of looking at it, but you can use your sound device, MP3 player, iPod, call it what you will, as another thumb drive, flash drive, storage media device. Just know where you're looking at things. Let's see. Large OEMGINA bottle. I don't know what you mean there, Abrams. I'm looking at that one. Large Omega bottle? I don't know, dude. I don't know. But anyway, so technology being what it is, these guys are getting cheaper, and I really didn't want to beat up my 120, my 160, so I got a 30. Is it really going to make a whole hell of a lot of difference in terms of what the car is going to be able to transfer or listen to or all the rest of that stuff? No, it really doesn't care. It just simply goes, hi, I'm a dumb waiter. I'm going to put this thing on for you to listen to. And that's the other thing, too, is there's now scads of music to listen to. And I think between AM, FM, XM, and this guy, I'm not ever going to have an issue finding something I want to listen to ever in that vehicle again. All right, on that one, folks, we're coming up on about 5 minutes after 10. I appreciate your kind indulgences. If you could go over to the latest video on Gun Blast on Facebook, or actually Gun Blast on YouTube. That's what it is. Latest video on Gun Blast on YouTube, and pay your due respects to Mr. Jeff Quinn. I would truly appreciate it. He's going to be missed. I mean, he was a fun individual of which to watch on YouTube. His content was always entertaining, just genuinely good gentleman, and he shall be missed. So I'm going to break up with this one, folks. Do be sure to check us out on Around the Cabin. Rich, unfortunately, blew up the big computer. I don't know how he did it, but he blew up the big computer from Around the Cabin. It needs some work, needs some stuff to be wrenched on. So that's down for the moment, but you can still always go to aroundthecabin.com, aroundthecabin.com/campfire for the life stuff. On Facebook, you have Around the Cabin News, Around the Cabin School of Self-Reliance, Around the Cabin Buy, Sell, and Trade, Around the Cabin Food, Around the Cabin Medicinal Cannabis, and Around the Garden's Gate. The Orangina, that's what it is. Abram's showing me about the Orangina. Yeah, is that glass? Yes, it is. It looks like a baby Panzerfaust almost. It looks like a baby stick grenade. Oh, you were talking about like Molotovs. Okay, yeah, that actually is a good fit right there. Narrow neck. Yeah, that is a good fit. I like that one. Yep, this stuff would make a great Molotov. Yeah, you're right. I could definitely see that one being like worthy. So of course you can definitely check them out on all those venues. You can find me on Twitter. It's 80SPCC. I do a little bit of stuff there, not a whole hell of a lot. Facebook, I'm still blocked. 20 more days, I think it is. Hang on a second here. Keep myself honest. I have. You know what? That's the part that always sucks. Is they say you're blocked, but they don't tell you how many more days you have. 25 more days. So 25 more days because they didn't like the fact that I might have showed Chuck Schumer sucking face with a kid. Oh no, that picture from Snopes says that you're this, that, and the other thing. You're go away. All right. So anyway, you can find me also on, of course, you obviously watch me here, do jerky, good stuff like that there on Facebook, 80s Podcast channel on YouTube. Appreciate your kind indulgences, and I'll get you guys next week. But like I said, do be sure to pay your due respects to Mr. Jeff Quinn on Gun Blast, and he shall be missed. Gunblast.com, Gun Blast on YouTube. Goodbye, sir. I salute you. Break all this one, guys. Eco Keep It 10 Ring as always. You know what, you love it, and catch you guys next week. See you guys. British. Of course, my mouse is sleeping. See you guys.